All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It is Friday, October 3rd, and we are just about 24 hours away from the first conference game of the season for the Texas Longhorn. We have week 6 predictions, Texas versus Florida. The headline for today's episode, we will go over all the things Texas Longhorns and Florida Gators and what Florida's defense likes to do, what we see from their offense, and we will break it down and then we'll give you our predictions. This is your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All in Horns, presented to you by Rogue Sports Network. I'm Tanner Carlson. That is Jake Jimerson. And Jake, let's just jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about that Florida defense.
Yeah, the Florida defense is, as we've kind of talked about and hinted at, they've been playing really good, just giving up 16 points per game and yet are 1-3. And that's not just skewed because they shut out Rhode Island. If anything, it should be lower because Miami really did most of their damage in the fourth quarter. That was a very close game going into the fourth quarter. And that's the thing with this Florida team is the record's not great. They also haven't gotten blown out or just looked awful other than on offense, really at any point this season against really good competition. Look for a lot of too high safety quarters type coverages and looks, which guess what that means? This Texas offense is going to have to do what they haven't done well at times this year. They're going to have to run the ball well, and they're going to have to throw the short and intermediate game well.
And Florida has a really good defensive line, and especially in Sapp, who is just a big hole clogger of a run stopper on that defensive front.
Yeah, their pass rush hasn't been elite. I will say that, and so you have to hope that this offensive line will continue to hold up in pass pro like they have. Pass pro has been a pretty big plus from this offensive line, way better than I expected it to be to this point, while the run blocking has been worse than I expected to this point. But especially if it's a rainy game, which the forecast has kind of switched. It originally said there was a lot of rain in the forecast. Last I checked, it was looking like maybe it'll be okay. So not sure what that's going to actually end up. But if it is a rainy game, you're probably not going to be hitting a lot of deep balls, especially if Florida is playing too high safety.
Yeah, I mean, there is periods of rain and thunderstorms. Any downpour can cause temporary flooding on roadways or poor drainage areas. There's a 94% chance of rain Saturday for the game.
So get ready for probably a delay. There's been a lot of delays this year in football.
You know what? You're probably right about that. That's probably going to happen. There will probably be a delay in this game, if not multiple. And this might be a very long game. And Jake, that can throw off everything for whatever team is doing well, whatever rhythm that team has built up to that point. Yeah. It
affects offenses a lot. We saw that we've seen that in the NFL. We saw it with the Cowboys and Eagles opening night. All of a sudden, both offenses went stagnant after the delay, and I don't think that's some type of coincidence. We've seen it in college football this year, and Clemson's had a delay about every game. They've had more delays than wins, and so hopefully the weather ends up being good. But I'm sure the Texas coaches are preparing for it not to be.
Sure.
And you're going to have to run the football well. And I think, and you're going to have to stop the run. Florida has some really good running backs, and they did have some success at times in the game against Texas running the football. That's nitpicking that game because that game was a domination by Texas. But this is going to be a much better Florida team, even though their record may not say so, than what Texas actually went against last year at the time. But you have to hope that I'm sure Sarkisian has cooked up some stuff that hasn't been seen on tape yet, some misdirection. I just really hope this offense comes out and starts well. You would love to see, I feel like if you get a lead early, if you get a lead first possession, if you come out and you get a 7-0 lead, 10-0 lead, 14-0 lead, this crowd is going to turn. And it's going to turn all of its frustration at Billy Napier. And it's going to be a very unsettling feeling inside that stadium.
You could do that. That's the possibility. Also, I look at it as field conditions. the sooner you can get on the board and put points on the board in this game while the field conditions are still manageable. If it's going to be rainy and sloppy, that field is going to get tore up by the fourth quarter. That's a natural grass field. That's not turf. So there's going to be some slips and slides going on out there. And it's entirely possible that we see our scoring in the first half, and then the second half, it's just a dogfight, mud scrum of trying to get into the end zone. If the rain is what the rain is supposed to be on Saturday.
Yeah, and little stuff too. Have the right cleats. Make sure you probably bring a couple pair of cleats in case you need to change them out in game.
Mhm.
Because you just got to be. I'm pretty sure it's it's a natural grass field, and so you come prepared. Now that I think is better in the rain than turf. Ironic, it may get more torn up, but you're gonna have better traction.
Yeah.
It'll make the play a little bit slower.
Yeah.
You won't be able to just be as quick. But we'll see what the weather turns out, but it is something definitely to monitor because that could drastically change how this game is played. And I think it helps Florida because they're going to want to win in a low scoring game. I mean, Texas can want to win in a low scoring game too, but you feel like things will be much more manageable if this offense can come out and grab them an early lead and kind of get the crowd out of it. Because I think this crowd will turn so fast on Napier and just be frustrated at their own team versus putting all their hatred towards Texas.
Sure.
Whereas if Florida gets hope early, it's gonna be a tough 4-quarter game.
6.5 point spread. Texas is the favorites in this game. I think this is going to be a close game. I also think this is going to be a very low scoring game. Jake, the over under 41.5 is the number on that. I don't remember a game where Steve Sarkisian coached this team and that number had been so low.
I think the weather's playing into that.
I agree 100%. But it's also the fact that the two offenses necessarily haven't looked their best up to this point on top of the weather. And so I might bet, I think I'd go under 41.5. I think this is going to be an ugly game. I don't think this is going to be a fun game to watch in terms of just.
I could very easily see this being a 20-17 game.
I can see this game
17-14.
Yeah. I think it's going to be around the 14-15 to 16-17 range. I just don't think it's going to be a lot of points. I could be proven wrong, but I just think the weather and the situation at hand and the offenses right now with these two defenses are just going to find their struggles again. I just don't think it's going to be a fun game. Now, if this game was played at AT&T Stadium in a dome, I would have a completely different feeling about it.
The over would also be a different number.
Yeah, it would probably be at around 50-ish, I would say.
Yeah, so I probably won't touch that, even though it's so low. It's enticing to go over. You go, how many points do you think Florida's going to score against this defense if you're that confident? And then you go, okay, so if the defense holds them to 14, that means the offense is going to have to score, close to 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't need that. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't feel overly confident that's going to happen.
They would need 27 points.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess 27's a normal number to get, but I could see it being 24-14 in a Texas win. I think that 6.5 points is a lot. I think that's people just kind of betting out on Florida, kind of thinking Arch found his rhythm, which hopefully he did. I mean, I'm not going to bet it. I don't bet Texas games. It only leads to pain and suffering.
More frustration.
Yeah, more because then if they win and they don't cover, then you're just pissed off. It's just not.
You're still not. You're not as happy as you would have been after a regular loss or after a regular.
Yeah, maybe
win.
Not pissed off, but you're not as happy.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, cool, we won, but I lost $20. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I bet Texas once this year. I bet them once last year. I bet them at halftime against Ohio State last year, because I said, screw it, I'm going to hurt anyways. It's money line. There's no cover. Let's just F it, we ride, and ended in me just being more hurt.
Yeah.
And then I bet him to cover against Sam Houston because I just thought there was no way Texas wasn't going to score 45 plus and hold Sam Houston to 3 or 0.
Yeah.
But that'll be the only time I bet Texas this year. So, I've bounced around on whether or not I think whether I'll pick Texas to cover when we get to our picks later. And I'm still not decided as of right now.
Yeah. Speaking of sports gambling, Jake, let's talk a little underdog for you. We have some entries that we want to discuss. And then when we come back from this quick break, we'll go over those and we'll be right back. Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code HORNS to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code HORNS. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. All right, Jake, I'm going to look at the Florida State-Miami game. I think Florida State bounces back with a win, and this is a entry that I've got Florida State's quarterback Tommy Castellanos throwing for higher than 176.5 yards, and Carson Beck, big game Beck, lower than 237.5 passing yards for the Miami quarterback. And I think those two things are probably going to have to happen if Florida State's going to win this game. So if those two things don't happen, I think Miami probably wins this game. So I could be very, very wrong, or I could be very, very right on this entry. But that's something that I like this weekend in the college football ranks.
Yeah, I went the NFL route. College games aren't quite available yet here. I had Carson Wentz going lower than 1.5 passing touchdowns against what is the best defense in the NFL right now in Cleveland. Jackson Dart going higher than half a touchdown at New Orleans. Cam Ward going half a touchdown higher again at Arizona. And then I went ahead and threw another one on that game as well in Kyler Murray going higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Had a big hit over the weekend, so hopefully I kind of keep the momentum rolling into this weekend.
The quarterback special for Jake, but yeah, Underdog always a good sponsor. They've been really great all season long, and they've really made my football experience this season that much better. Must be 18 and up, 19 and up in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 and up, and in Colorado for some games. 21 and up in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and must be present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. All right, Jake, let's go and talk a little bit more about this, the keys to victory for the Texas Longhorns and what they're going to do, what they're going to see offensively as well. We talked Dallas Wilson a little bit, DJ Lagway almost dead last on the deep ball, but maybe Dallas Wilson making his debut, maybe it's something that he changes for Lagway. Maybe they have that connection already.
Yeah, or Florida gets the run game going, which would help Lagway. And so,
I thought their run game last year actually looked pretty good against Texas.
Yeah, and they have good running backs. Part of their problem has been kind of playing from behind, and also I think Napier's had questionable play calling at best, questionable play calling with not sticking to the run at times.
Florida fans that are listening to this, which I know there's a ton of them, let us know if questionable is the word that you would use for Billy Napier's play calling.
We're going to get some comments we might have to delete in our comment section. But yeah, I think the rain could force Florida to stick to the run, and I hope that doesn't happen. I hope Napier doesn't get a Mother Nature causing him to, change his plan into something that would be a better plan. Yeah. But stopping the run is going to be imperative for this Texas defense. I think if they stop the run, the defense is going to dominate this game. If Florida's able to run the ball, retain time of possession, kind of lower the amount of possessions that are going to happen in this game, it's going to be a dogfight for 4 quarters. And Texas fans are going to be freaking out going, this Florida team sucks, even though this Florida team does not suck. I know they're 1-3. I know this defense is good. And if Florida's offense can control the clock and limit the possessions in this game, I don't see a way this game isn't close, quite honestly, unless Texas can get some turnovers, which I would say the two biggest keys in this game, and I think you can come up with different ones or let me know if you agree, are get turnovers and stop the run, at least for defense. Those are, if they do those two things, they will win this game almost regardless of how the offense plays.
Well, and
Almost.
I'll go on the offense side of the ball, Jake. Penalties. Can't have penalties in this game. You're already going to be fighting different, whether it be the weather or good defense, things like that. You can't hurt yourself by having penalties in this game, especially false starts, things like that. Holding penalties are going to happen, but you cannot set yourself back on a 3rd and 2 and make it a 3rd and 7 on a false start. That's not going to be advantageous to you whatsoever in this game. And so I think penalties is going to be a big one. And then also for Texas, really kind of establishing the line of scrimmage. And I know that's kind of a low-hanging fruit, but they are going to have to be able to establish the run game, which hopefully will open the pass game for Texas in this game and maybe open some things up. But if they can start this game out and getting 6-7 yards a carry and maybe break a 20-yarder and just kind of force Florida to kind of play up a little bit, maybe you can hit them with a play action and them overcommitting on something. And then when guys are overcommitting, they slip and fall, and then hopefully you can just kind of put it on your receiver and let him do the work. Is kind of how I see this game going for one of these two teams. Whoever can establish the run game first will have a big time advantage in this game.
Yeah, and that can, I mean, in the first, I think this first quarter is just really important for Texas. I really do think getting a lead early, to give you my number one key to the game, just overall, get off to a good start, get a lead early. I think if Texas does that, they'll win this game. I think if they give Florida hope to start and momentum and get the crowd into it, I think it's going to be a long, stressful game.
Yeah.
If they come out early, get a lead, I think they win this football game.
All right, Jake, let's talk some Week 6 football around the country, and let's talk some of the big games going on, especially in the SEC, starting out this week at College Game Day in Tuscaloosa. It's going to be Vanderbilt traveling to Alabama, number 16 Vandy taking on number 10 Bama. Bama 10.5-point favorites. Again, you're probably thinking, well, if Vandy's number 16 and Alabama's number 10, why is Bama 10.5-point favorites? It's a talent compository thing. It's a home thing. It's a recruiting thing. It's just there's a lot of different facts that go into it, not just a team's ranking and a team's record going into it. Jake, I think this is revenge week for Alabama. Over under, by the way, is set at 56.5. I think that goes over. I'm going to hit that one. I think Bama covers a 10.5-point spread as well. I think Bama's going to actually handle this game, not with relative ease, because Pavia and Vanderbilt are just, they're frisky. They're a frisky team. I don't think Frisky beats Alabama 2 years in a row.
I'm not going to pick Vanderbilt to win. I do think they're going to cover. I think 10.5's a lot. And the thing that makes me think Vanderbilt's not going to win this game is I don't think their defense is good. But
they allowed 35 to Utah State last week.
Yeah, and that was a competitive game for a little while.
Yeah.
Now that could have been a look ahead spot for sure for Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's to a point where they can have a look ahead game.
Sure.
And they just come off, dropping 70 points against Georgia State, letting their frustrations out from that loss in the previous year. I think Vanderbilt's going to play well and keep up in this game. I think the style of offense that Vanderbilt plays is what this Alabama defense has struggled with going back to Nick Saban, and have continued to struggle with. They run a type of offense that's kind of similar to Florida State. They pass it a little bit more than Florida State might. But it is a similar style.
Yeah.
Pavia is a similar style quarterback, and that gives Alabama problems. I'm not going to pick them to go into Tuscaloosa to win. I am going to pick them to cover. I do think Alabama wins, but I think Vanderbilt will be very competitive in this game. And I think 10.5 points is kind of disrespectful to what Vanderbilt has looked like this year.
Well, that's going to be the message from Clark Lee. I can tell you that much. I mean, they thrive on the disrespect. That's when their team plays their best. And so I'm kind of thinking of it on the on the mentality of Kalen DeBoer and this team. They were embarrassed last year. They heard it from their fans all year. They've heard it from everybody across the country all year long leading up to this game. And they've seen clips all season long. So I think that they're going to have a little bit more of an edge. They've got plenty of bulletin board material as well to show up and play this game outright. And so should be a good one, though. I think it is going to be a good game. Boise State at number 21, Notre Dame. Notre Dame 20.5-point favorites. 64.5 is the over-under on that one. Jake, I'll let you take the lead on this one.
You know, I'd love to pick Boise State in this game because I don't think Notre Dame is that good, but I do think Notre Dame's offense is really good. They have a quarterback this year. CJ Carr can sling it. He's looked really good this year. Probably like one of the better quarterbacks in the country, to be honest, because quarterback play hasn't been that great this year in college football.
Sure.
There's kind of been an epidemic of bad quarterback play across all of college football. I don't think Notre Dame's defense is that good, but that said, I don't see Boise State being competitive at the line of scrimmage in this game. And
I'm not sure if where you got your line, but I'm looking at least on the ESPN app. It's 19.5 now.
Well, then it's moved. I put it on this morning.
I didn't. Right. I didn't know if you had gotten it from something else or if the line had moved. That's what I was trying to.
Well, the tone didn't come off that way, buddy.
Sorry. I didn't know you were reading my tone. My bad.
Yeah, no, I did get it off of the ESPN website. That's what I use. It's easiest to see it. It actually opened originally 17.5 for Notre Dame. So there's been a ton of movement.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of movement on the site.
To go from 17 to 20 back down to 19.
Yeah, a 3-point jump is crazy. And so you feel like it got reeled back a little. I think Notre Dame probably covers. I don't think Boise State's a very good team this year. And I think Notre Dame's offense is hard to stop. And I think they're going to put up enough points. I think Boise State will put up some points, but I'm definitely not in love with their offense, and I don't think they're just going to be able to move the ball. Notre Dame just has better talent at the line of scrimmage than Boise State does.
For anyone who's thinking that this is last year's Boise State team, 34-7 loss to Florida, South Florida, 51-14 win over Eastern Washington against Air Force, 49-37. And then App State, they won 47-14.
Which App State is not a good team anymore.
No.
App State's win this year's are Charlotte and Lindenwood. They won against Lindenwood by 7.
Yeah.
Lindenwood is either FCS or D2.
They are
then
very low on the total.
And then they got blown out by Southern Miss and blown out by Boise State.
Yeah, this isn't your typical Boise State team. They shouldn't have been ranked to start the season off. That was a joke in the first place. And so
that was based off last year, and they don't have Ashton Genty.
No, but to go on the 19.5-point spread, I actually think Notre Dame covers that. I think this is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a really ugly game. I could see the overhitting just because I think Notre Dame could score 50 and then Boise State score 14. And I could see a game, something along those lines.
That would be the under.
That would be the under if that was the actual score. So I'll go 52-14 Notre Dame. But yeah, I think they cover. I don't know about the over or the under on this one, to be honest with you. I'm gonna say over, and I'm gonna say Notre Dame covers the spread. All right, number 11, Texas Tech at Houston. I think this is a sneaky game for Texas Tech. I think Houston could stay in this thing and give Texas Tech a run for its money. In fact, I might take Houston outright, but instead of doing that, I'll take Houston to cover the 10.5-point spread that Texas Tech has. And I'll go hit the over.
Now 11.5. That line has moved as well. A lot of movement.
Either way, I think that benefits what I'm trying to say. But I'll take Houston to cover the 11.5-point spread. And I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to go under 50.5. I think Texas Tech's defense, this isn't your typical Texas Tech team. This is a Texas Tech team that's relying on defense. And I think I like Houston to stay within a touchdown in this game, but I still think Texas Tech probably pulls it out at the end.
Man, I would love to say Houston would be. I kind of said Houston was kind of a dark horse for me, and I know they're 4-0, but they just went to overtime against a horrible Oregon State team last weekend. Uh, my problem with this game is the line of scrimmage. Texas Tech has been dominant with their defensive front, and I don't see Houston being able to deal with that. You know, I would love to pick Houston to cover. I'd love to pick them to win. I just don't think this is going to be a competitive football game. I think Texas Tech covers probably pretty easily, and I'll probably bet that as well, unfortunately.
You and I, we're actually completely different, I think, on just about every game so far.
Yeah, Notre Dame, we were the same on, but we're opposite on Alabama, Vandy, opposite on Houston
Yeah.
Tech.
Now we've got Tech and Bama winning,
And
but
I can already tell you we're going to be opposite on at least one more game.
yeah, well, that one more game is probably this one more game. Number 3, Miami at number 18, Florida State. I think Florida State bounces back at home. I think they get this win outright. I put it in my underdog entry, and I'm going to stick with it with my prediction as well. In terms of the over-under at 53.5, I'm going to go under. No, over. Over.
Yeah, and that 53.5 is tough because I think
It's a good
Miami
number.
has. I think Miami's going to win this game. I think they're going to cover. I think they win by 10 to 14 points around that. I just think Miami's a better football team. I just think they're flat out a better team than Florida State. It is at Florida State. That does concern me. I think in college football, the home team matters so much unless Drew Aller is your quarterback. Got it in.
Got
it in this game.
Also, Florida State, if the Florida Texas game is under weather delays and rain, I feel like this game will be too.
Yeah. So maybe I like the under. Probably if I was going to bet the over under on this game, I'd probably.
I'm not betting the over under on this game.
No, I'll probably take Miami to win and cover. Because I think they're just the better team. I think Florida State's riding a lot off of that Alabama game. I think their defense got exposed a little bit. And I think they just caught Alabama with their pants down and not ready to play week 1.
Yep.
Not to say I don't think Florida State's good, but I don't think there's a team that is going to. I don't think there's a team in the ACC that's going to beat Miami this year, unless it is just a bad performance. Maybe Georgia Tech, if they can get to playing at a higher level, I think they have the capability to. I think Florida State has the capability to, and I could be proven wrong, but I'm going to take Miami to win and cover.
All right, Jake, one more game before we predict the Texas-Florida game. Mississippi State at number 6, Texas A&M. A&M is 14.5-point favorites. Over-under set at 55.5. I took the lead on the last one. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Mississippi State money line. Absolutely. And there are reasons behind this. I at least think they cover. Because I definitely could see A&M winning this game for
14.5 points is insulting.
It's disrespectful to how good this Mississippi State team has been this year. Their one loss is an overtime loss to a Tennessee team that everyone's drooling over. I think it's just and Mississippi State very easily could have won that game. I think matchup wise, this works out for Mississippi State's offense at the least. I think offensively they're going to be able to move the football. They have a very good running game that I expect to be able to take advantage of the fact that A&M's run defense has not been that great this year. And especially since Mississippi State's not one-dimensional. This isn't Auburn. They don't have Jackson Arnold playing at quarterback. I think a lot of people are getting high on A&M's defense off of their one good performance this year against Jackson Arnold and Auburn. I think the only thing that if this game was at Mississippi State, I would be fully confident in the money line. It being at A&M makes me a little more nervous, but I think Mississippi State is going to play really well in this game. They at least cover, but for the fun of it, I'm going to go ahead and take Mississippi State to win this outright.
Cue up the clip about with Herb Street and Fowler and Bear in the van talking about A&M's home crowd and how they never win a big game there, but they're supposedly this great home field advantage. Cue up that clip right now. Use your imagination. Go to YouTube. Go put it on. That's my feeling on Kyle Field and Texas A&M. it's not a home field advantage because they don't win big games whenever they need to. They're at home. You stole my thunder a little bit, and I knew you would, but I gave it to you anyway. Nice. Thank you for the alley-oop there. But I will. I'm taking Mississippi State money line as well because, again, I've just been overly impressed with this Mississippi State team. Now, if they lose this game and A&M actually covers this 14.5-point spread, if they win by more than 2 scores, Jake, or more than 2 touchdowns, then I might back off my feelings on Mississippi State a little bit. But if Mississippi State at the very least covers this and they only lose by a single score, say 6 points, it's not gonna. I'm not gonna falter in my opinion on how good this Mississippi State team is this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited about Texas playing at Mississippi State this year at all.
No.
That game scares me on this schedule. I think a lot of people are still very much so overlooking this Mississippi State team.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good team.
Yeah.
If you've watched them play, which I've watched them play 3 times now, I've been impressed every time I've watched them.
Yeah, they've looked good against good teams. I definitely think 14.5 points is very disrespectful to what Mississippi State, the product they've put on the field this year.
All right, Jake. Number 9, Texas at Florida. Texas 6.5-point spread. Favorites, 41.5 over under. That's, again, probably the lowest that you and I have seen for a Texas game, at least under Sark it is. With the rain, with the 2 defenses being as good as they are, the number makes sense. Again, it's just low. But Jake, I'm going to say Texas. I'm going to say Texas 16, Florida 13.
Now I got to actually make the pick. I think Florida's going to cover. With the forecast, with everything, about Florida's defense, Texas's offense, I can't fully trust them yet just because they beat up on Sam Houston. And especially if it's rainy, I think that only helps Florida, quite frankly, with how the matchup just looks on paper. I do think Texas is going to win this game, but I think it's going to be a lot uglier than a lot of fans are hoping, just based off at looking at Florida's record versus, looking at how they've actually played. I'm going to say Texas wins. I'm going to say they win 20-17, and it's a last second field goal by Shipley to win, maybe like a 39-yarder, just enough to maybe sweat it a little bit from the left hash to win the game in the swamp. But I think this Texas team will get a lot of momentum off of that and start to believe, going into the swamp and winning is going to be a confidence booster for this team, regardless of what people think of Florida.
Especially if it's an ugly game, especially if it's muddy and rainy and there's rain delays. If you come out of there with any kind of win, you're going to see a happy face on my face come Saturday's reaction show. All right, Jake, that's going to do it for today's episode. That's Jake Jimerson. I'm Tanner Carlson. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. As always, ladies and gentlemen, hook 'em.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.